remember like just like I remember like like, oh yeah, you should put it on Do Not Disturb. Like that was like a whole thing that like I still have to tell some artists actually all the time. It's fun. It's okay. No, truly like. Not even in a bad way. I still like there are artists who are new and like remind them, hey, you should probably do that. But I remember maybe it's just the way I played in my head. I'm pretty sure that you felt like you did your final act, you dropped onto the stage, but you didn't do it for like your knees. You were like way up here, and what no one knows is that floor was tile. You went full just right there on there. We all heard it. We all felt it, to be honest. I felt it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that was a one-time mistake. Listen, it caught my attention from that moment on. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for always being a support for this open mic, for any other open mic that I do, and for being a support to the community. I've seen you show up just to literally show up, not even performing. So you're like, this is what we do this for. You're an absolute physical manifestation of that. So thank you. Yes, sir.
Boppity bop.
Never heard someone diffuse gunshots like that.
We be bopping.
Oh, I should get a chair, shouldn't I?
Yeah, go pull up a chair.
I'll pull up a chair.
It's gonna be like a little campfire circle.
I just need you to go to like a Jamaican party, Casey. And then every time the DJ just goes, brah! You just repeat back. We just go, brah!
You think I haven't been to Jamaican parties?
You've been to mine. I know you have. I'm just saying I need you to do that right now. What you just did.
I've been to other Jamaican parties.
I believe that. And I'm just using mine as an example, not as a definitive one.
That's not a chair, that ain't a chair.
The way that the other Casey would always call this a box
Put the
chair.
microphone down.
Down.
Yes, I worked there.
Hello, friends. Welcome. You have made it to the end of the show. And Jose and I have a special little treat for you. We're going to get up on this microphone and break down the night, the week, each other, and maybe a few audience members.
We're going to break each other, all right?
Break it down. And when I say break it down, I'm not being deconstructive. I'm being constructive. Because sometimes when you gotta build things, you gotta clear shit away.
Deconstruct me, Daddy, anytime.
Yes. So tonight, I've thought of several topics to talk about, but I also want to open it up to the crowd and see what's going on in your world, what's going on, something that you need answers to, something that hasn't really resonated and you want to have a better understanding. Marriage. I'm not a married person.
We're so qualified for this.
But I can speak about that. My parents were married.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
You have so much in common.
Before we get into marriage, let us marry our kava. Hula, guys.
It was so gingery too, the way that we just like tapped our shells. Cup and cup?
What is it? Bjorn, chill the fuck out. Bjorn, relax, dog. Why?
It's Mark. It's Mark.
Oh.
Yeah, with the Bluetooth.
Ah, wonderful.
That's the sound of the police. No.
So,
I don't hear it. It's me. Marriage. Perfect sound for that. Sound effect. No.
For those of you who don't know, Jose and I have been doing this. Yes. Also,
Used to.
That is correct.
Used to.
That's for,
It happened.
it was for citizenship. Come on.
His papers, not mine.
Yeah, my papers.
It was for Casey's papers.
Yeah. I am.
He's from the Conch Republic, man.
I'm from the Caribbean, you guys know. Yes.
I like this. I haven't heard this in so long. Fucking A.
So,
Welcome, everybody, to the live streaming podcast of Alligator Couch with your host, Casey.
and Jose Masquerade.
I like that one. I haven't heard that one yet. Not at all.
Sweet. gonna say it wrong.
I hope you do.
Jose Macaroni.
I heard that one actually. I have heard that one.
You have a weird Italian name.
No,
I do.
it's macaroon.
It's also not that, but I like that too.
You hear what she
My
called
last name, I'll take it. That's because I'm sweet. Because I'm diabetic.
Because you're flaky.
I did not mean it like that at all.
My history is, so the best way I always describe it is the letter S, and the word tree. My history. That is how it.
This show is brought to you by the letter Mastrudi.
I like that. I've had someone call me Jose Maserati before, and I'm like, that was wrong in every right way.
Very good. Before we get into that subject of marriage, I do want to say, just a quick brief. I am known as an asshole, a cynic, and a sarcastic person.
You're my favorite asshole.
And I love myself. So,
Someone has to.
yeah.
And I'm known for interrupting all of Casey's sentences.
Not all of them.
Most of them.
Yeah, you're good at it.
That's a good sign of marriage.
Yeah, it is.
And I
We
still love
finish each
myself.
other's
Sandwiches.
sandwiches.
That's a real marriage right there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish your sandwich.
Let me tell you, actually, let's talk about marriage. Here's a fun little fact.
Wait, we're the only two that
You finish each other's sandwiches. That's what I was told.
No, this is a great lead-in right here. Perfect segue. So I come from a family, right, where my grandfather and my grandmother, old school Cuban couple, like talking, never walked outside with like a short sleeve shirt on a Sunday in the Caribbean because the fucking 70s, I don't know, or the 60s. It was a fun time. But one of the things that they were so old school about, and it was weird for me growing up to reconcile the fact that I'm a 90s baby, like I am living in the modern age, and I have certain values that are representative of that age. And my grandma was never able to go out and like go shopping with the girls, meaning my other, so that's my dad's mom. My mom's mom was also her friend. Couldn't go out. To like
allowed out?
She wasn't allowed out, but the problem is not from a place of allowing. It was like if she went out, my grandfather.
We're talking about traditional Cubans.
Oh yeah, for sure. No. You're. I understand the question. Here's how I'll put it. It's not that she wasn't allowed to go out. It's that if she went out, how was my grandfather going to eat?
Oh, true.
Oh no.
He doesn't know how to do fuck all. No, it's not that he doesn't know. I'm sure he could. Because at some point there is food in the fridge, but it was just short-circuiting in his brain that he could make his own sandwich. It did not compute. Or how about look at the fridge? It was, it was wild. It was like this thing that was a foreign concept to my grandfather. Bless his soul. Yeah, any food, period. I mean, maybe he would grab a banana. I don't know. The man was somehow allergic to the kitchen. It was like that. That's the family that I was raised in.
Well,
Me too.
I'll tell you this from my parents. There's only room for one chef in the kitchen, and it was my dad. My dad made all of the food, and he made food better than fucking 5-star restaurants.
I don't think he was
My dad-
real talk.
I learned how to cook from my father. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and I'm an Army veteran. And a lot of those things, after I became more of an adult, I got in the Army when I was 17, but when I got back out, it was we had a deeper understanding. And I got to talk to him about his experiences, not only with war, but also with his marriage. My dad married twice. And both wives, my mom and this other fucking lady, were both named Colleen.
Say they couldn't cook?
I'm not making this up. And me and my sister hated this other bitch. And I only needed room for one, and she was enough. She was enough. Both my parents were drug addicts and criminals, and that transferred to me for.
What about Colleen 2.0?
No, she's too vanilla.
That's why you didn't like her. That's obvious.
My mom is from Miami, Miami girl. My dad is from Massachusetts, and he came down here to get away from the cold. And I myself am adverse to the cold. But about that marriage,
Wait, which one? The one with Colleen?
my mom, my parents, but not the other lady. My parents would get into drunken brawls, and there was, I'll never forget this, it was my sister's 8th grade graduation, and they were doing it at the local Catholic church, and that night, both my parents are fucking shit-faced, and yeah, it's very Irish. My parents are shit-faced, like us Irish people do, and my mom and my dad fell down, like, outside of our house. I'm getting there. They fell down these wooden steps, which are, like, probably to here, but when you're falling with another person, it's just like your joints, your elbows, your knees, they're all bad, they're gone. And so this ruined my sister's graduation, but in retrospect for me, I'm like, that's hilarious.
I was gonna say, what made it better?
But yeah, they didn't stay married too much longer after that. And this is appropriate. Yes. Shake your body to the ground. But they shouldn't have never gotten married. I think they got married because of me. I was the firstborn. I'm not entirely sure if that's true.
I got a cousin like that.
Huh?
You're not sure if you were born.
No, that they
I'm
got
still
married.
not sure.
You're not actually here. Welcome to your dreams, kid.
I manifested. No, my dreams are way cooler.
Ouch! I'm right here.
No, it's nothing to do with you. There's like fucking dragons and goddamn
I can't believe it's a dragon. That's fair.
imaginary sex women and
I'm not one of those either.
imaginary sex dragons.
I'm
Ooh,
also
sounds
one of those.
fun.
Yeah, no. I don't check off any of those boxes.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's why you got divorced.
We're not divorced. What's with you in this past tense of us being married? We're still together.
Okay,
You see, Casey and I, we're here, we're sharing kava, we're talking about our lives. I'll tell you, so my parents only married each other.
Good.
Are still together. They're still together. They did the real Catholic thing, like the full-on, like, no sex before marriage. They're each other's first and only. I don't know if it's, it's just not something I want to think about personally, just in general.
Did you ever walk in on your
No, I did not.
No?
Nope.
Not once.
Very happy to say no.
Wait, did you?
Of course.
You and Colleen? The other Colleen.
You can say my mother.
No, the other Colleen.
Ew, no. No, I was in the army when that was happening. So I was far away.
Now I know why you took me on. No, perfect. This is the one.
Mark's not gonna last.
So,
Did somebody give this guy edibles?
not it. So, perfect. That's the one. But I will tell you that, everyone always talks about like, oh, divorced families, like that's, like a problem couple and all that. And there might be truth to that. I'm not, like, obviously I cannot speak into that. But let me tell you, my parents, they've been together now forever. And there was a solid decade of my life where I'm like, any day, it's gonna happen. It's just,
They're gonna kill each other.
yeah, or divorce, whichever comes first, I don't know. But I remember like there was so much fighting. And I often think like, at some point, y'all just get a divorce. Like fucking A, like why are you like at this? Like it's so dumb. Like we live in the year of our Lord, it was like the 2000s. Like, ooh. It's true. I
am very grateful for my parents' divorce because it gave them the space so there wasn't all of this turmoil. Like they weren't a match anymore.
Right.
And that allowed me and my sister to have parents in different homes and continue to grow and learn things separately from each of them.
Sure.
And they weren't the type of parents that like talk shit on each other. they would just be like, "Oh, you're going to your dad's." Like after they got all the fighting done, it was like civility.
That's cool though.
And I was like, that's very nice to see.
Yeah, not to be
They
taken
can go from fighting and being enemies to just being like, I'm your parent. Right. And I'm grateful for that. Even though they were, scumbags.
No, but listen, I mean, so I also wanted to say, like, also, like, I'm grateful that my parents were able to work out what they needed to, and they're the happiest people I know, they're doing great, and love that for them, truly. I have seen other members of my family not do the thing you're talking about, literally talk shit to the child in custody from both parents, where it's like, well, your dad does this because he loves you, but my dad's an asshole. Well, it's because your mom's a whore. And I was like, wow, that escalated super quickly.
That's the thing that's going on with my younger sister. Like, she never got married to her baby daddy.
Oh, shit.
But that guy is fucking dog shit.
Understood.
And I wish nothing but bad things on him.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair. No. No.
This is me speaking the truth.
Hello for me.
This guy. I don't want to get
You
into it.
definitely looked at Mark when you said that.
It'll just make me mad.
You were definitely looking at Mark when you said that. You said this guy.
No, this guy. Why'd you fuck my sister, Mark?
I love this so much. Aren't you happy you chose marriage?
You guys haven't answered my question.
Have we not?
Well, technically, she never asked the question.
Tell me, rephrase the question.
Ask the question, period. We never, you just said marriage, and we're just like, perfect. We're gonna run with it.
Okay, so the question is it really worth it? And what is it?
It's a choice. That's all it is.
But it's not what it used to be.
Doesn't have to be.
So what is it?
It's still a choice though. That much it is.
Your question is, what is marriage?
And is it worth it?
A marriage is a contract that you have with another person, or in some cases persons, that you guys will love each other unconditionally. And most people don't do that part of their contract. What they do is they have conditional love, and that is why marriages fail. This can be remedied with better communication and knowing that this person will hurt you, and it is not, unless they're malicious, it is not their goal to hurt you. Like, that's, if that becomes a part of it, if there's a maliciousness in a marriage or a relationship, that is the sign that it is not working, and it will not work without proper therapy, counseling, and probably very good friends. So, that's...
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Love is unconditional, and I will say that. I will also say, I don't know if relationships are. And I don't know if by proxy,
It's an agreement.
that is fair. But an agreement is usually based on the parameters of two people coming together and choosing something. There are usually conditions with that agreement.
Can't forget the boundaries.
That part. And
Yeah.
why I say that is because,
Boundaries and needs.
yeah, for sure. But if you have needs, then and they're not being met, you are in a way placing a condition that the other person should be meeting them. If
You gotta
not,
meet your needs yourself.
No, I'm saying that...
no doubt. I agree. Actually, by the way, I agree. But that's why I don't know if marriages are based on. They can be based on unconditional love, but love is unconditional, but relationships are not.
Well,
And
that's why you work to make them unconditional.
I don't. Well, I don't know if that's.
The initial act is not.
That is a lot of...
Right. So we're talking about commitment there, right? And I agree with.
I will say this. That starts with the self.
Yeah.
That doesn't start with another person.
Exactly.
That unconditional love has to be starting here, and that's when it echoes out, and like you'll see like everybody in your life is doing well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
If you have conditions on yourself and how you live yourself, you're gonna have conditions on how you live.
Bingo.
And
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That deserves an applause.
I realized I was hoping it's a horrible way to clap. And I actually very much agree with that. It's actually the only way that love continues to stay in perpetuity, right, if you will, like continuously flowing through you and outwards and about. And I still see how how when you choose to make, like, by the time you've chosen to be in a declared relationship, there's oftentimes, you know, again, it's those boundaries that you were just saying as well, right? Like, if you're placing boundaries, if someone is breaching those, you know, if someone is breaching your boundaries, then they are actively in the way of you being able to love yourself. That needs to be addressed. And if it is addressed and it continues to be improperly met, and that continues to be a problem, and it continues to actually get in the way of your love for yourself and for others, you are, in a sense, you are placing a moment that can no longer be taken. Therefore, it is a condition. It just might not be a spoken one. But at some point, you know, when you learn for yourself that you have to let people go, right? If you've chosen that you needed to let someone go, you've essentially created a condition that they no longer are being able to meet, and that's why you have to let them go. And it can be out of love, but it's still a condition. You know, it's still a condition that you are placing.
I'm not following.
Sure.
But I do want to just chime in for a second and just say that establishing healthy boundaries and talking about them is where you will find greater success. Because
Right.
you can just say, this is my boundary, it's a non-negotiable, and then it's...
But if it's a non-negotiable-
that's a roadblock.
That's not a condition.
It's
those
just-
are your boundaries, that's your self-respect.
I agree. It doesn't make them not conditions.
I'm talking about
What is a condition?
a healthy,
Exactly that.
a
It is.
healthy boundary, like, don't cheat on me. Like,
Yeah.
healthy
Right.
boundary.
So if someone cheats on you, they have broken the condition that is required for that relationship to still be around. It doesn't make it a bad thing. I'm not saying that conditions are bad
I know
things.
what you mean,
Yeah.
where you say condition.
Right. It's still a,
Conditions for what that is.
if it's a contract, contracts come with conditions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that in a bad way, purely objectively, like, the condition of my relationship is that you have enough respect for yourself, you have enough respect for me,
That's good.
you have enough respect for this relationship, and if you fail to meet that respect, then this relationship cannot work. Therefore, it is a condition, you know, because here's where I'm coming from specifically.
Alright.
As you know, I kind of mentioned in my poem, right? I was in a relationship where my boundaries were always breached, my needs were not met, my respect was not given. Where you know, and it's not to say I didn't do it's not to say that I did a great job of asking for it, but I came from a place of, well, that's just what you do when you're in a relationship. You hold space for the other person to make their mistakes, even if that mistake is yelling at me, berating me, belittling me, and all of these things. And no. It was absolutely the unhealthy way of looking at it. But it came from a place of saying, but my love is unconditional, therefore I have no problem receiving that blow and that blowback all the time. I needed to step in and put a boundary, and at some point those boundaries would continue to be broken. I needed to set a condition, and I in fact did set a condition, and it was still not met, and I had to take action on that condition, but that took way too long because of this noble idea.
This goes back to communication being key. And
Super does.
the thing that I've seen in like my past relationships with the women that I've been able to have these conversations with, it's not something you can do with every person, but it's something that you can teach. You can also learn along with that person. Like, this is something that, man, I had it. Shit. Communication, if you are able to sit with another person and have a neutral conversation without, like, you might have triggers emotionally, but if you go through it without being inflammatory and just saying, you did this and this is how it made me feel, like, this was my experience, and that is just a piece of neutral feedback that people can receive. And sometimes they don't know how to receive it, and that's okay, because everybody's on their own separate life path, and when our paths intertwine, the better we understand each other, the less problems we have.
One, agreed. We can clap up for Casey on that one.
No,
Okay, fine, don't clap. I would.
It's like a constant understanding too. 'Cause
Mhm.
when you're with someone, you're loving someone,
Let me show.
you love someone, you know that you're loving them for every death and rebirth that they experience while in the relationship.
Absolutely, and the past
You're
ones.
constantly learning and unlearning the same way while constantly unlearning the person that you are as well. So
Absolutely.
that's what unconditional love is. Continuing to choose each other even though you know
That's why love is unconditional. That is absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
Even
yes.
Because
Yeah.
a relationship has conditions.
And I was saying this to somebody earlier. I think we were talking about Michelle's poem that some of the best things that you can do when you love somebody unconditionally is to tell them no, and say I need space from this. I get to process this, and I know that you're hurting, but for us to do this effectively, like something else needs to happen, not just like repeating, rinse and repeat.
I was just gonna say, because the way that we often also think about people crossing those boundaries, right? Oftentimes, to your point, there's communication that happens that allows you to heal from, say, the immediate wound, right? You said something and I responded in a way and you responded back and now we're hurting. We talk calmly, we overcome it, we move on, we move forward, we're stronger. And we find a new thing that at some point starts to feel maybe too familiar. What I've experienced is many times.
That lesson will repeat, and it'll repeat different.
Like, I guess what I also have noticed is in some relationships, either the same lesson continues to have to be learned, right? And so, but the choice could also mean a whole different person.
With a new perspective or a new set of eyes.
Or a new person altogether, because
Sure.
maybe there comes a point where it's like a sunk cost, where it's like the amount of time I have spent trying to arrive at a point of healing with this person is time I could be spending on either myself or growing with a completely different person altogether, because this is clearly, for any reason, not even saying that anyone is in the right, but for whatever reason, we cannot find a center point between the two of us. And that has been a truth for me in several relationships where it's like, I'm not even mad at you for having the point of view that you do, but I am frustrated with the frequency with which we have this point of frustration. And so I think it might be in our best interest to just be either friends, to give ourselves space, to come back and revisit, to not come back and revisit, whatever it might be.
Something,
And I still love you.
that is not only an exercise in patience, but also knowing that when your patience is at its threshold, it needs to be spoken. Like, I've exercised my patience, and this is not working, and I want it to work, or I don't want it to work.
That's also another one.
And having the fortitude, having the emotional balls to tell somebody these things takes a lot, and it's not easy. These are uncomfortable conversations. But the better you get at being uncomfortable, the better you access your growth and the growth of other people. So having uncomfortable conversations is definitely like a big part of like perfecting relationships, perfecting your love with yourself and the love of other people.
And if I can tie that back into the original question, imagine you considering all of that for a lifetime, because that's usually when people say, I'm gonna marry you, the commitment, the implied commitment, or the very explicit declared commitment is, I'm ready to put up with your shit for the rest of our individual lives and our together lives. Like, I am completely ready to handle whatever the fuck may come. We're gonna bitch and moan, and we're gonna get through it and overcome and grow stronger, and we're gonna repeat this process a few thousand fucking times. And I'm ready to do that with you.
See, what I want to bring back, and this is a joke, is like having like a lease on your relationship. Just like
Keep going.
renew your lease once a month, and just have that contract be like, we will date for 1 month. We will see how it goes, and if it's not working by the end of the month, that was all we got.
Can we please have like
Or
A 30-day trial.
just a,
or you can renew your lease, and
Some religions do that.
if you just keep renewing that lease, then maybe you got something good that you hold
just
on to.
live with a priest, and he'll just keep on marrying you every month.
And no. And then you buy that home, right, Mitch?
You gotta make sure your lease matches the lease of your apartment. So when you break up, one doesn't leave in one isolation.
That's actually a pretty fucking good strategy.
But yeah,
That's great.
That's something that I'd like to introduce back into my dating life because I have not been dating for like a year and a half.
Want to get married for a month?
Yeah,
Cool.
I would do that, but you gotta communicate.
I have a few conditions.
Still haven't had any texts from you
I text you back later.
from last episode we did.
Yeah, I texted you for that one, didn't I?
No,
Cool. We're friends.
you're on a rocky road. You're in the doghouse.
That's where you want me anyway.
What kind of marriage is this?
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
This is a
Oh wait,
this is a leak.
2 months ago for you.
2 months for me. Yeah. We missed the ceremony.
No, it's okay. We wanted to keep it just, just us. Yeah, we eloped actually. Is what
Yeah,
we did.
we were officiated by an alligator in a tuxedo.
I love that.
And it was on a
That's
couch,
actually the only way I
right?
would get it,
Typical Florida.
I was gonna say that's the only way I get to. That's the only way I would get married to this one over here. Mitch, you're here. The fuck? I was looking for you. Where were? No, you weren't over there because there was a bunch of people there and it was not you.
No, he was over there. Sorry.
Yeah, you just got shut down twice.
I want to have my comment now.
Man, he was over there.
I'll just.
You don't even look at me.
Sorry.
You don't even look at him.
You know, maybe it was 2 months ago at this point that I didn't respond back to him. Fuck it, why not? Let's just up the ante. Why wait 2 weeks? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you guys.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for that because that was excellent. We got to go into human stuff. I like human stuff.
As opposed to sexy dragons, right?
That's
What about sexy vampires?
Oh, you can still do that.
Why be redundant? All vampires are sexy. We talked about this.
Haven't done that.
Not with that attitude you haven't.
Shut up. I don't know how to segue into. Is there anything else from the crowd? Does anybody want to?
Oh, we got a hand.
I got one out of curiosity.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's from like several minutes ago.
Okay.
You're qualified. Just run it.
Let's see if you can remember. As you guys were trying to, as you guys
Bookmarks, I love those. Okay, go
your
ahead.
relationship, you mentioned how you felt like you have to learn this lesson repeatedly of protecting your boundaries.
That's called
Right?
toxicity.
And then you keep pushing that boundary until you yourself realize, okay, it's not going to change this relationship, and you finally leave. Then that's several times over. Would you say that the most recent time that happened was a shorter length of you learning that lesson repeatedly? Yeah.
I want to pretend yes. I want to pretend that that's exactly what's happening.
There's been no improvement.
I don't know. That's the thing. Here's the funny thing that happens to me. It's both my secret power and also my greatest weakness, right?
You're talking.
Yeah, kind of. Work with me. Let me land. No surprises to Casey. I have ADHD, right? So a funny thing happened. I know.
No way.
Bum, bum, bum.
Jeez.
I know the reveal. It's too much. How do you handle it? How do you deal? So
Is that an STD?
no, I mean maybe.
Is that an SUV?
It's, I don't even know if this
That's the correct question.
So that is a correct question. So why is that relevant here? Because a funny thing happens where it was like a meme that I'd come across that's like the reason why I'm able to continue to fall in love again and again and again, even though people continue to break my heart, is because I'm stupid, right? And hold on, look at that. It's self-deprecating, but it's empowering. Hold on a second. Oh my God! Let me land.
All right, give us-
I am grateful that I am able to forget the way that people can hurt other people because it allows me to give a new person a new opportunity and remember intuitively that I don't have to hold my old lessons against someone else. I don't have to do that. I am able to fall in love over and over and over again
But
That makes you super strong. I know,
that's not because you're stupid.
oh my gosh, guys, it's humor.
Give me a turn.
Oh.
Give
Everyone,
me a turn.
I promise, I meant that in a way of saying I love myself for it.
We do have a
Okay.
hand. We have a hand
Cool.
when you're done.
I-
We have a hand back.
I know, yes, one sec. But, hold, I'm not, okay, sure,
No,
yes,
no, sorry.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay.
I thought you were-
What I'm saying is that the flip side of that, though, is that it also does take me a second when I'm in an otherwise bad relationship or something that's not working for me to realize, oh fuck, it's not working. Because I'm like, maybe it's just this thing. And then it happens again, like, maybe it's that thing. And I realize this sounds a lot like the other thing, but maybe this time it'll be different. And so it does, I'm grateful and I wouldn't trade it. It does not mean that I would give up. Like, I would not want to pick up the ability to learn that lesson faster if it meant I stopped believing in people the first time I meet them. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if I can have one without the other with my own makeup. So if it means that I'm gonna fuck up a few more times, but I get to fall in love more often, I'll run with that anytime. That's fine by me.
Good for you.
God damn, I told you I'd land this. Y'all didn't believe in me. Y'all didn't believe in
We
me.
got time for one more question.
Wait, and
Two.
you wanted to say something about what she said. It's not another question. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
This time is our time.
What's your name?
Imani.
Imani, thank you for your questions. That I think that's something that I don't think that there's a time frame on healing. I think it depends where, like, I can only speak for myself. Like I just got screwed over like really bad recently, but I'm not gonna let that affect who I am. Like it's not personal. It's that person's mistake, and they're gonna miss out, obviously. But
Mistakes are a great thing.
But what I want to say is that I try to never make it about the other person, but like what's going on in here? What's going on in here? Like I got my heart broken, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna love again. I'm not gonna give that to anyone.
Real quick. Every time my heart breaks, it grows. So it's something that
It's a muscle. It's a muscle. It's gotta rip and
Yeah.
move.
Work it out.
not that I go looking for
It's
heartbreak,
stronger.
but there was a time in my life where I was. So my heart is very big, even though I'm a big asshole.
Big asshole with a
Thank
big
you.
heart.
Our final question.
So, with every relationship that you guys went through, the ones that didn't turn out so good, were they more of like just a self-reflection of maybe a bad trait or something that person had, you just didn't realize you had it until you seen it in them?
I think that happens all the time, for sure.
Or even better, when you actually end up dating the same person over and over with a different name and face. Like, it's not just people whose names are the same that you can have a type for. It can also be the same amazing personality that often has similar awesome traits.
Like two Colleens.
Like two Colleens, or two people. I remember I had dated this girl that it was difficult, and it wasn't from a lack of communicating it, and it sucked because there was, I don't know, to this day, it doesn't matter. It happened. I did it the way I did it. Whenever we would argue, I was like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to be this person, but I am continuing to see, like, if not my ex, like ghosts or whispers of my ex in the person I was just dating now. Right, so like I dated someone, then years went by, and I dated someone else, and I'm like, wow, this feels really the fuck familiar. I will say that is usually at this point in my life now, cause that's usually that's my alarm that goes off now, where I'm like, oh, I know what this is. I know what this feels like. Regardless of whether I should give that person an opportunity or it's a different person, and it might be true from a place of my own personal protection, I just say, even if this could be a great person currently in this state of affairs, this is not who I want to be with. This is not who I get to be with. I get to be with literally anyone else right now, because the idea of even being remotely in that same place can't feel anything less than a regression to me. And or it's too easy to open up into regression. So
Keep going to therapy.
Can we talk about what part of you is still
attracting all of
attracted to
that?
all
For,
of
no, I
that?
can tell that for days.
No.
I can do that. I can do that for days, but we're not going to do that because that's what I pay people for.
We've reached the end of our show.
Yeah. But it is. To be clear, Michelle, I acknowledge absolutely there was a lot of that. Yeah. I could. Huh?
Come on. Come here.
It's the comfortability
For sure.
of the time.
That's what's familiar.
It's the comfortability of the parts of ourselves that we have been, and the resistance of expansion.
Oh, for sure.
The resistance of wanting more. We're comfortable with yearning for less. But we're out here saying we want more, we want more, we want more. But less is comfortable, right?
Oh,
And that's a
okay.
reflection of how we love ourselves.
Can I take that and put it into a quippy ending?
You can put it in your pocket.
I know, I will, as a quippy ending. As a quippy 140 character ending.
I don't know what that means, but go ahead.
It means it's going really fast, that's what it means.
Okay.
The ego is the character in your story that is always in search of slaying the dragon, and it's always in the middle of the book.
Yeah.
And it never actually wants to slay the actual dragon because then it has no purpose. It's like a program in the Matrix.
Is it a sexy drink?
And so
Only
you're gonna
yours.
burn down your ego.
Only yours. So for you to actually get what you want is to tell your ego to stop, and your ego doesn't want to stop. So it's more happy to continue in the pursuit of slaying the dragon than actually doing so. And that's why we self-sabotage. So don't self-sabotage, guys.
See, when I slay the dragon, I slay the dragon.
I hope you do.
Oh, yeah.
Is your name Colleen?
No. Never in my life. I want to thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the show. You guys are an absolute joy to be here with. I wish we had more of the people stay, because I feel like this is not just us. Like this is the talks that people don't have anymore. These are the talks that, yeah, this is like a fireside conversation, and I'm very proud to do this with you guys, to do this with you, Jose. And if you guys want more of this, you can follow my channel, Alligator Couch. It's more than this. I do so much with my channel. I do comedy, I have these fireside chats, and talk about life. And it's a good way to get to know me, and a good way for us to get to know each other. And I am a man of mistakes, and mistakes have taught me a great deal. So thank you for all the mistakes. And thank you guys for being a part of the solution to the mistakes.
All right. Mitch, I owe you a spot next time. I owe you a spot. I owe you a spot. I have declared it, therefore it is so.
That's the end of our show. Thank you guys. Follow me at Alligator Couch on YouTube. Follow Jose on the Jam Lot.
Yeah, do that. Do that. Okay, bye.